Hello, everyone. Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching. If you're watching live, we are here to talk about AEP Success for 2024. Today is July 12th, 2023, and we are actually going to start to talk about what AEP Success looks like. So when we're talking about AEP and you're looking at the graphic, let me just ask, because we are recording, can everyone see my screen? And what is it that you see?
Dollar signs.
Dollar signs, right? Dollar signs. Okay, great. So you can see the screen. That's wonderful. And Maureen says she can see money. That's the whole idea. In this Medicare space, for those of you who have been doing Medicare a long time, those of you who are just starting with Medicare, you know that we start with a 3-digit commissioned income that creates for us a 4-digit and 5-digit monthly income, which equates to a 6-figure and 7-figure annual income. So when you think about Medicare and what we do as a profession, you think about money in those senses. So each of your sales are going to be a 3-digit income. That's the monthly commission. That then, as you add those monthly incomes up, they become 4- and 5-digit monthly incomes that multiplied by 12 will create your annual income in the 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, and so forth income brackets. So I need to go back. It's good to meet you. Good morning again, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching. If you're watching live, good morning, and thank you for joining this morning. It's good to meet those of you who I have not met. It is also nice to see many of you again. I'm so happy that you were able to take these few moments to spend with me. And of course, you know who I am. I'm Faye, and I sell Medicare plans. So let me tell you a little bit about key life points for Faye. I live in Davenport, Florida. I was born in Winter Haven, Florida. I have lived in West Haven, Connecticut, Orlando, Florida, and Fort Worth, Texas. I graduated magna cum laude from Albertus Magnus University when it was Albertus Magnus College with a degree in business management. Family is a very big key in my life. I'm married, I have children, I have grandchildren, I have great-grandchildren, and they're all so very, very special to me. I try not to have favorites. There are some who are different than others, but I love them all. I have a passion and a purpose, and a few years back, I found out that what God has given to me in knowledge, experience, the wherewithal to attain knowledge and wisdom, the whole reasoning behind that was so that I could help someone else. So that's my passion and my purpose, to help others. And every morning, my prayer is included in my prayer is, Lord, help me to help someone today. And I take it a day at a time. And I'm hoping that today, something that I will impart to you will be able to help you. Finding a work-life balance can be very, very difficult. But one of the ways that I am able to do that is I am a host for The Joys of Living Great. It is a television show that's aired every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Win-Win Women Television Network. So in that show, it's all about the joys that are in my life. And although I don't share in that show the joys that I have with helping people with insurance, the joy that is within me and the other co-host of the show actually shines through. That's my work-life balance. This is the family that I live with. So nobody lives in the house anymore with me except my husband, Norris, who is also known as Chef Andre. He's my husband, my cook, my mentor, my inspiration, and he is my rock. So he kind of keeps me settled down. Those of you who've known me for some time know that I can get going and I could go pretty fast and pretty quickly. And he just kind of holds me steady. So I love him for that. These are a few of the things that I really, really love. I love fresh flowers. And now that we have a new house, I said every week we're going to have fresh flowers on the counter because that's important to me. Those little things in life should be important to you as well. So whatever it is that helps you to keep balanced and stay focused or whatever it is, do it. Just make sure that you do it. I love good food. I have learned over the years to cook a little bit, not as well as Norris, but I can cook some things. Now I can do more things than just boiling something. So I love, love, love Alexa. And that's because she's such a great help to me. Alexa lets me know, since I work from home, if someone's coming to my door. Alexa can play music for me. Alexa can answer a question for me if my hands are full and I'm standing in the kitchen and I don't want to go to the phone to ask Google. I can ask Alexa and she can answer. She's just great. I love having her. I love talking. And those of you who know me know that I can talk. I can talk and talk and talk. And sometimes I might dominate a conversation. I've already told you that my passion and my purpose is to help people and that I love my family. I love adulting. And even though I love my grandchildren, I love them very much. I also love to do like just adult things, just maybe sitting with another adult and talking about something on an adult level and having a glass of wine. That's an adulting issue for me. And I love doing that as much as I love being with the kids. I love adulting. I love playing cards with adults. I love to read. That's how I learn a lot. That's how I explore things that I need to know and things that I want to know. And believe it or not, even though I'm not very good at it, I love to golf. Those are just a few things about me, and that's enough about Faye. So now let's talk about why you are here. You're here because we're going to talk about the importance of AEP to your business. Very first thing you got to realize is if you are working Medicare business, it is a business. We're going to peel back and give you eye-opening insight into the fact that it is a business and what the importance of AEP is to your business. We'll talk about the AEP process. We'll talk a little bit, not a lot, because this is not a webinar about the changes that are coming about. That's a whole different topic, and we don't want to be here forever, but we'll touch on a few of the key changes. We will talk about goal setting and planning for success, and then I'm going to offer you a targeted marketing plan. So we're going to get through all of this, and we're going to do it pretty quickly. So, importance of AEP. Believe it or not, 40% to 50% of your annual income, that six-figure income that we talked about earlier, that starts with a 3-digit commission, comes about during the AEP. For those of you who are even just starting in Medicare or have been doing Medicare, you know AEP is October 15th to December 7th. Every beneficiary, every Medicare beneficiary, everyone with the red, white, and blue card, everyone during that time has an opportunity to see what they have and make changes. It's the opportunity for you to see more people because more people are eligible during that time. So during the AEP, your mindset is to work hard, play hard, build your book of business. This is when you're going to bring people on board. You're going to add them to your book of business. And starting with the next year, those are going to be those customers who will provide for you residual income. Medicare business is all about the residual income. There are many, many of us who have different streams of income, but when you're selling Medicare business and offering Medicare products and you're building that as your base, that's the reason why Medicare is your base, because it gives you residual income. Now, everyone during AEP, from CMS all the way down to you, everyone is involved during AEP. Everybody has a responsibility. Carriers are responsible to produce plans that have been approved by CMS. CMS has the responsibility to set the rules and tell us what we need to do to be governed by those rules, tell the carriers what they need to do to be governed by those rules. So this is the time, since every Medicare beneficiary is eligible, this is the time when the carriers will actually spend more dollars for marketing because they have more people to touch. Now, let me give you an example of what the AEP means for you in terms of dollars. Remember, you're in business. You're in business to generate income. You're in business to help people. That's what you do. That's your purpose. But you need to generate income for it to be a business. So let's assume that you are working 5 days a week. You decided that during the AEP, you're going to work 5 days a week. It doesn't matter what 5 days you choose. You can choose Monday through Friday. You can choose Monday through Thursday and work Saturday. Whatever fits into your business plan. But for this example, let's just say you are working 5 days out of 7. So you're not killing yourself. You're not overstressed. And then you got those other 2 days of the week, if need be, to actually pull in anything that's left hanging out there. So during the AEP, if you're working 5 days a week, you want to set a goal mentally, physically, and purposefully to sell 4 sales a day. I'm sorry, 4 sales a day. Now, that may not happen every day, but the average for the week should be 20 sales. So you could have 8 on one day and the next day have 2. It should still work out that you're doing 20 sales a week. There are not quite 8 full weeks during the AEP. It's pretty close to 8 full weeks. So if that's the case, then you would have 160 sales for the entire AEP. You may not have had 160 sales AEP last year. You may not have had 160 sales the year before, but you're thinking on a new way of doing this, a new way of thinking about it. You're really, really putting the importance of AEP at the top of your list. So you want to be looking at that 160 sales. Now, you all know that commission levels are different for people who are new to Medicare and the renewal. What I've used for this example is the renewal, because that's probably the average. So the average is going to be about $300 for the year. So if you have 160 sales at $300, that's $48,000. So you know that I like to use simple numbers in my head because it's easier for me. So think about a six-figure income of $100,000 per year for the whole year. $100,000. From October 15th to December 7th, you have already made $48,000 or 48%, very close to 50% of that 100,000 for the next year. Does that make sense? So in a 2-year period, let's assume that you do the same thing. This process works for you. You should do the same thing, and you should be able to do it better. However, I still like to be conservative. So instead of having 320 customers in your second year, some of them are going to move. Some of them are going to die. Some of them are going to be written by somebody else in your town. Some of them are going to answer the phone and give their information, even though you've told them 3 times not to do that. They're going to do it. So let's think about, instead of 320 customers in the second year, that would be the 160 from the first year and the 160 from the second year. Let's say that number is 300. So if during the second AEP that you've worked on these numbers, you have 300 customers in your book of business. Those 300 customers, and now we're at about $25 per month per member. That will be $7,500 per month. So take that $7,500 per month, 2 years from now, and you multiply that by 12, and you're pretty close to where you want to be with your 100,000. Now remember, I only use the renewal figure. Everyone that you write during AEP is not going to be at the renewal rate. Some of those people will be new to Medicare. So it's so much easier for you to get to that number that you're looking to find. Start to think about that number now in your head. Start to think about what number you want. The bottom line is, treat AEP 2024 as if it's your first year. Your first year, because it's the first time that you've ever sold a Medicare product. It's the first year that you decided that you're going to really work a plan. You're not just going to throw spaghetti on the wall and hope some of it sticks. It's the first time that you looked at what works well for you and what doesn't work well for you. And it's the first time that you seriously said to yourself, and you have affirmed that you can do this, that you will make this happen. It could be the first year that you really wanted to feel and see that accomplishment in your purse. So what does that look like? If you're looking at a full year, you're going to have all of these enrollment periods. The AEP makes up about 40%. It's really 40 to 50%, but you can see it makes up a good chunk of what you're going to do. That's why it's so important. And then, of course, your IEPs, your SEPs are going to be 20% of what you do. However, your OEP, January 1 to March 31, can also be an opportunity for about 20%. So if you think of it in terms of that for the whole year, you'll have a good idea of where your money should be coming from. You need to know that ahead of time. You need to know a lot ahead of time. That way you can plan. If you don't know what to expect, let me give you a good example. The reason you listen to the weather forecast in the morning before you go out is you want to know if it's going to rain, if it's going to be thunderstorms, if where you're going, you're going to have a lot of traffic or whatever. If you don't know that, how can you plan for it? So you want to know what to expect during these enrollment periods, AEP being the most important one. What is the AEP process? Actually, the AEP process starts on January 1. Yes, I said January 1, but okay, all right, I'll give you January 1 because everybody's watching football. And if you're not watching football, you're going to a football game. And if you're not going to a game, you're actually eating your New Year's dinner. That's very, very big in my house. And I like family, so we got to eat together January 1. So I can understand that. I'm going to give you January 1. Your AEP process starts January 2nd. January 2nd, there are always going to be people who did not do anything during AEP. And they're going to call you on December 8th, December 15th and go, oh, I meant to call you back, but I forgot and I didn't, or I was sick and I didn't get an opportunity. And so they just missed it. And they don't have an opportunity to change in the OEP because they're on original Medicare. So there are always going to be people who you can start to add to your AEP list starting January 2nd. Just remember, the AEP process starts January 2nd. Keep it in the forefront of your mind. That's when you're going to make most of your dollars. So that's when you should have it in the forefront of your mind. It would be great if I could move from this now because we've already seen it. Okay, key changes. Remember, this is not a webinar to go over the key changes. This is what I'm going to say to you. For those of you who work directly with me, I'm the person that you should be contacting to make sure that you have what is compliant, what is required, and how you're going to do it so that you are compliant. For those of you who are not working directly with me, make sure that you contact your business partner, and that business partner is able to go over the changes with you and make those suggestions of how you should be conducting your business so that you are compliant. I'm only going to mention a few of the key changes so that you're aware of what to talk to your business partner about. First is the 48-hour rule, and most of you will know these changes because as you complete AHIP, you will know what they are. The first and most important is the 48-hour rule for scope of appointment. It's not the end of the world. We'll talk a little bit more about it on the next slide. However, It's something that's been in place before, it's back again, but just know how you're going to handle the 48-hour rule for scope of appointment. Talk that over with your business partner. The second is how your marketing is done, what's a sales event and what's an education event. How do you market those? Where do you get that information? How do you actually do those things compliantly? Medicare does not allow you to just approach people to be approaching them. You need to have permission, particularly when you're doing Medicare Advantage. So know from your business partner any ideas that you have for what you're going to do, if it's compliant or not compliant, and you can run it through the compliance departments at the carriers to be sure that you're acting and conducting your business compliantly. The third one that I just want to touch on is the use of the word Medicare. There are some things that are going on in the atmosphere about the use of the word Medicare. So be careful how you're using the word Medicare in your title, in your name. You're not implying that you work for Medicare, that you're from Medicare, that you represent Medicare as an entity, but you can offer Medicare products. So those three key things, I'd like for you to be sure that you contact your business partner to make sure that you're doing things compliantly. Marketing. Marketing is very, very key to how you're going to carry out your AEP and get prepared for AEP. And the very first thing at the top of this list, other than being certified, of course, is carrier rollouts. Carrier rollouts are critical. When I was captive, it was, of course, imperative that I attended the rollouts. As an independent, no one can force you to attend carrier rollouts. But you need to know, because the changes, some of the key things that we just talked about, each carrier may require something different because carriers have compliance and requirements that CMS has placed in their laps. So read all of your carrier emails. There are many people who will ask questions 2 weeks later, a day later, and when they're asked, well, didn't you get the email? Yeah, I saw that, but I didn't read it. You're running a business. How are you going to run a business without reading your emails? And if you're like me, while I'm talking here, I can assure you that I've gotten at least 20, 25 emails in one of my emails. So every email, you need to take the time and commit to reading your emails. If you don't understand them, reach out to somebody in one of these groups, reach out to me, reach out to your business partner, but read all carrier emails. Reach out to the carrier if you don't understand them. The scope of appointment, the 48-hour rule, as I mentioned earlier, it's not the end of the world because there are exceptions. So be sure that you know what the exceptions are. And one of the examples is if you are conducting an informal meeting at a location and someone comes up to you, it's a walk-in. So you don't need to do the scope for 48 hours. Understand that your business has to be organized. You need to use a calendar. You need to have a schedule. You need to plan your day, your week, your AEP. You need to have a plan. I'm going to offer a schedule, a calendar actually for you that you can get, and anybody who wants it, I'll post the links for it in different groups. But if anyone doesn't get it and want to actually see it, then just DM me or text me and say, I need to look at that so that I can start to organize myself, because organization is what's going to help you to do those 4 sales a day. I want to throw out a what if, and this is why organization is so important. With the 48-hour scope rule, let's say you met with someone and it was the day after Thanksgiving. So that's like November 20 something. And there are only a few days left before AEP is over. However, you're not within that 4-day period for you to do the appointment right away. So you got to wait 48 hours. So you get the scope of appointment from this person. And then because you're so close to the end of the time period for AEP, you get busy. And you're writing applications every day, and you're going to the places where you need to be, and it just kind of slips through the cracks. And you miss that person. On December 8th at 2 a.m. in the morning, you wake up in a panic because you did not get back to that person. You missed them. How does that make you feel? This slide is the only one in this entire presentation that is not branded with my logo. Why? Faye, why didn't you put this on this slide? You got it on all of the others, because this slide is your slide. This slide belongs to each one of you. It does not belong to me. It's not about me, it's about you. Dream big, set goals, take action. Dream big, set goals, take action. Dream big. You can dream bigger than the 4 sales a day. You can set goals that are higher than the 4 sales a day. But in order to get to the goal, which is the dream that you had, you got to take action. This is your slide. So take a moment to really deep, bring that in, breathe it in, take it in, make sure it's a part of what your mindset is. Dream big, set goals, take action. And if you don't know how to get those 4 sales, that's what we're going to help you with. So goal setting is part of what you need to do. Look at your past performance. I didn't say go there to live. You're not going to reside on what you did last year. You're not going to live with what you did last year. But you do need to know how was last year in comparison to what you want to be, where you want to be. So last year may not have been an excellent performance. It may not have been the performance that you expected. So start to think about, what did you do? How did you go about it? What could you have done differently to improve that performance? Sometimes just tweaking something as little as where you are and how you spend your time can increase the number of sales that you actually close. Sometimes redefining and rehearsing and going over your presentation can help you to close more. You may have seen a lot of people, but you didn't close them. You may have been with a lot of people, but you didn't get a permission to call. You may have done a lot of activities, but you got no permission to calls, you got no appointments. what happened then so that we will have an idea of what maybe to change. Set the number of days that you plan to work. My suggestion was 5 days. You may not be able to work 5 days. If you have a full-time job or you have another job, you may not be able to work 5 days. If you're only working 2 days a week, that means for you, you're going to spend 12 hours during those 2 days during AEP. Just count on it. You got to put the time in, and it doesn't matter. It's all going to be around what you are able to do. Set the hours per day that you're going to work. And if it's only 2 days, use those hours to do nothing but Medicare. It's either one or the other. You got to be in the game or you got to be sitting on the sideline. So you need to have the number of events and activities scheduled to meet the goal that you're going to set. And you need to know how many people do you need to see each day to hit those 4 sales a day. If you're working 2 days, 3 days a week, or you're only working on the weekend because you have a full-time job, your goal will be to sell more than 4 per day. There's a goal tracking worksheet, and this is the link, and I should have put that into a QR code for you, but you can take a picture. If not, if you can't do that, you can just let me know that you like the goal tracking worksheet, and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. It's actually how you set your goals for the entire year. And how do you keep track of what you actually did? Tracking is important to your success. You will not feel overwhelmed if you know where you are, where you were, and where you can then decide where you're going. The next few slides that you're going to see have fire. This is where you're really setting the flame for actually doing what you need to do. So these are fire. They're all going to be fire action-driven slides. So before I go any further, let me just ask if there are any questions that anyone has right now. Maureen would like to have the worksheet. Okay, you will get it, Maureen. You may have it, but when you see it, let me know. Okay, Tom wants the worksheet also. Any questions so far? No questions so far? Deborah wants the worksheet. Okay.
Faye, this is Maureen.
Yes, Maureen.
So when you're at an event, so you have a table and people approach you and they're talking, and I really have a hard time getting them to complete the permission to contact. What is a good way that isn't pushy?
Okay, that's a good question. Does everybody understand the question? How do you get someone to complete the contact form that doesn't appear to be pushy, salesy, because it's really not required? It's going to be different with everyone. And this is why when you're doing an event, the first thing I would suggest is make yourself accessible. So stand in front or to the side of the table where you are. Face yourself, notice which direction the traffic is coming. You want to be standing so you're facing the traffic. As they approach you, in your mind, this is where your thoughts on wheels start to move. As they're approaching you, find something about that person that you can say as they're approaching you. Do not make it about signing up or filling out a form. Have the form in your hand, have the pen, have the form on a clipboard and the pen ready, have a giveaway maybe in your hand, but you want to say something that's going to engage them. Engage in a conversation like, wow, that's a pretty dress. Haven't I seen you? Do you usually shop at HEB? I think I saw you at the pharmacy the other day. Were you at CVS on 27? Anything that can start a conversation. When you start the conversation with the person, you're going to continue. You're going to guide the conversation, but you're going to say to them, so you lived here. Did you attend whatever high school is there in town? If they attended that high school, then you're going to mention somebody you know from the high school. You're going to connect the high school with the class that is now 65, those people who graduated in, I don't know what year. You all know I don't do math in my head, but let's say you want the people who are turning 65. So did you graduate from that school in whatever year? You're starting a
I think it's
conversation.
1976.
Okay, great. Thank you. So did you graduate in 1976 from Edward High School? They'll probably say yes or no, but then if they are engaging in the conversation with you, they're going to go ahead and tell you when they did. Oh, that's great. Listen, that means that you know a lot of people who might be eligible for or becoming eligible for Medicare, right? You got to guide yourself into it. Then you're not pushy. You're just having a conversation. And then they may even say to you, no, I'm not. I had a lady tell me, and I was so embarrassed. She said, oh, no, I'm not that old, but my husband is. And he was there. And I said, okay, great. And your husband, he had on a cap that said he was a veteran. I said, and you're a veteran, sir. Thank you so much for your service. Do you know all of the benefits that veterans can get from Medicare? He goes, no, I have whatever. Oh, well, then fill this out and I can contact you and give you more information. You have to be kind of smooth about it. Does that help you? No?
Yeah, thanks. I was muted again.
No.
Yeah, I'm good with the conversation. It's just the here, fill this out so I can talk to you part that is where I
No,
struggle.
I mean, you don't. With each person, it's going to be different. With some of them, you can have it on the table and you'd say, if you'd like more information, just fill this out and it gives me permission to call you. With others, you're going to have it on the clipboard and say, okay, what's your name? So
I do like the clipboard. Thank you. I made a big note clipboard.
Okay. Yeah, it
All right.
depends. So,
Uh-huh.
but have it in both places.
Yeah. No, thanks
Have
a
it
lot,
on the
Faye.
table. And you know what? Don't put the pad on the table. Tear the
Yeah.
sheet off the pad so it's one sheet at a time.
Thank you.
And then you just have to get past that initial, and you'll find ways to actually offer for them to complete it. You want more information, and you could always put it on Medicare. Medicare and CMS requires that you let me call you. And I do everything by the book. So let me
That's
know.
good. Thank you. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you can always blame them. It's their fault that they have to give you and you don't need anything but their name and their telephone number.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the permission to call slips ask for address, telephone number, email, and all of that. But if it's real quick and it's busy and there are a lot of people there and you want to get more of them, just tell them, I just need you, just give me the right telephone number, the best phone number to call you.
Thanks a lot.
And then another thing that you can do is say to them, listen, let me give you my number. You got your cell phone with you? Put my number in your phone, list it as Faye. And that's because when I call you, you'll know it's me.
I like that.
And you let them know, say, you know what, I know you get a lot of calls and most of the time you don't answer them when you don't know who it is. So just put my name in there, put my name in your phone so that you can know that it's me, because I know you have some questions. I want to just answer those for you. So you're not selling. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, you are very sincere. Thank you.
Okay, so Lauren, I also have that you want the worksheet. Okay, got everybody with the worksheet. Let's go on with fire. Fire. Okay, number one thing, be certified. Now I know, because I've been guilty of this too, but now that I know the importance of getting it done, again, when I was captive, there was a deadline and I had to do it by that deadline when I was a sales representative. And then when I was manager, I had to set a deadline. And just so that all of my agents were done, I just had them all come in one evening and it was done. And we bought them pizza and soda dinner and they just had to come in. It was mandatory because they were captive. So you're independent. Nobody can tell you what to do, when to do it. You have to make those decisions yourself. But make decisions that are going to benefit your business. Don't be stubborn about it. Get your certifications done. AEP first, then do your certifications. Being certified follows down the line or up the chain, whichever way you want to look at it. When you're certified, the field manager for the carrier knows that you have completed the certification. You will be then invited to those rollouts. You will be on their list so that you can call and get to know them and know more about the products, the insides of the products, why the company has changed, transportation companies, why they're doing this year and they didn't do it last year. You will get the inside scoop. Create a marketing plan for yourself, and I'm going to make an offer to you to help you to do that. Be consistent. Well, that's really, really key in what you should be doing to set this fire. If you decide that you're going to, however you decide that you're going to market your business and where you're going to be consistent. Whatever it is that you do best, or whatever it is you need to learn to do very well, learn it now. Set clear goals. Choose those activities and events that are going to push you to those goals. And how are you going to know if you're hitting those goals? How are you going to know if what you're doing works? How are you going to know? I mean, just because you make one sale from one place doesn't mean that that's the best place you should be. You've got to be able to track your results. So it is important when you do an event to count numbers. And if it's a large event, like 4th of July festival that we did, you can't count all those people that were there, but you can always ask the people who put on the event how many people attended. So you know next year there were 600 people there, and out of 600 people, you can still count the people that came by your table. Do little stick marks. Have a piece of paper with the little stick mark. Stick mark everybody that came by. You know the stick mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then draw a line across it to make 5. So you can count how many people stopped by, how many people you will know how many permission to call slips you have. So 30 people came by the table, they picked up event giveaways, or they spin the wheel or whatever they did. And out of those 30 people that actually did that, you got 10 permission to call slips. And from the 10 permission to call slips, you got 2 appointments. And from the 2 appointments, you got 2 sales. These are the things you need to know so that you know what works and what doesn't work. And it doesn't mean that something doesn't work because you didn't see enough people. It could be something that you need to work on. But how are you going to know that unless you're tracking what you're doing? Then you can make the adjustments wherever it's necessary. So an example might be you present a talk. You go and you talk to a senior community. There are 30 people there, and you talk about how to save on prescription drug costs. Everybody is really happy to hear that. They all grab the handouts. They love you to death. And then they ask, well, can you come back and talk to us about how to choose a primary care doctor? Yes, of course. But nobody gives you a permission to call slip. Why? You need to think about that. What could you have done differently? How could you have positioned that talk so that they will want to know more about the prescriptions? Did you give all of the information out about how to save on the prescriptions, and then it was in the handout, so there's no reason for them to call you or want you to call them? Think about those things. Start to work early. This is why this is fire for you, because what I'm going to offer to you, you're going to start and do in August and September. Now, if you already have your plan, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You got it. You know what to do. I could be preaching to the choir. But if you don't, and you really want to plan, then you got to work August and September. Be prepared with a plan. So these are some of the things that you can do, activities that you can do that will set yourself up to put yourself in a position to see more people. Go to bed saying to yourself, see and be seen. Wake up, see and be seen. Walk out the door, see and be seen. Get in your car, see and be seen. Put a sticky note on your mirror, see and be seen. See it everywhere, see and be seen. You're going to see more people and you're going to be seen by more people. You can do retail. Retail can be Walmart, Kroger's, HEB, Publix, Winn-Dixie, any of the major chains where your carriers are setting up. You're able to request those retails, but scan and look around the neighborhoods. You're doing Medicare. Do you really want to be at the CVS that's on the corner of an apartment complex where there are 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds? Is that the CVS that you want? Or do you want the one that's on the corner across from the 55 plus community? So don't just pick a retail. Pick a retail where there are the people that you're looking for that are near there. You can also do locally owned pharmacies and grocers. You can do sales seminars. Sales seminars usually have to be approved by the carrier. So they also need to be filed with CMS. So those go through your carrier for sales seminars. You can do community centers. And when I say do community centers, you can talk at community centers about anything educational. Talk to your uplines, talk to your business partners about what's educational, what's not educational. The talks don't always have to be about Medicare 101. Medicare 101 is great, but it doesn't have to always be that. It can be how to save on prescription drugs. How do you choose a primary care doctor? You can do that in conjunction with a primary care doctor's office. You might be able to speak at churches to talk about things that really matter to Medicare beneficiaries. Things such as how do you get assistance if you get to the point where what happens if you need to have in-home care? Partner with a long-term care company, partner with an assisted living company to come out and do that kind of talk. You can also talk to the sororities and the fraternities, the ones that have graduates who graduated long before 1978. So it's a mixed group. Social clubs and organizations, the VFW and American Legion. For those of you who are on here and you have these organizations within your community, less than, I am told, less than 30% of veterans actually understand their benefits. But you can learn what those benefits might be and how to help them. Find out everything that you know. Don't ever give out information about something you don't know about. Provider marketing should include not just primary care, but dentist offices, the durable medical equipment, any of these people. Put yourself in a position to see more people, see and be seen. Now, how do you get a targeted plan and how can we best work together? Let me just clarify this right away. First of all, for those of you who work directly with me or who are a member of I Sell Medicare Plans community, you do not need to do this. I'm available to do this with you at any time. But this is the offer. 30 minutes of talking directly with me, real time, to provide you with 2 to 3 specific strategies. And these strategies are strategies that you can implement into your business to augment your sales effort, and you're able to do them right away, immediately when you get the executive summary, which is given to you 7 to 10 days after that 30-minute talk, no more than 10 days after that talk. And you can then take that step-by-step executive summary. You'll know where to go, what to do, based on what you've told me are the days that you want to work and the hours that you want to work. All you need to do is just go set yourself up at those places and do those activities. The strategies that you will receive can be implemented right away so that you can use them in August and September. By July 15th, everyone should be finished with AEP. By July 31st, everyone should be finished with their certifications. By August 30th, everyone should know where they are working and what their plan is for AEP, and have communicated that in writing to your business partner who needs to get resources to help you to do what you need to do. Now, for this offer, there are only 10 slots available for $50. And that's obviously because I run a business, you run a business. I also have other entities that I need to manage. So I'm not going to have enough time to do a lot of the packages, but I am able to do the packages in the 10 slots that are available. Now, don't forget, let me make it clear again. If you're already working with me directly, if you are in the I Sell Medicare Plans community, the private community, you do not need the package. You have the same opportunity available to you always. So for everybody else, there are 10 slots available at $50. And if you follow the instructions for implementing the strategies that you're given and see no increase in production or sales in 60 days, I'll give you your $50 back. I'm really not doing this for the money, as you could see. It's to help everyone, but I need everybody to think about it. This is the QR code. For those of you, I'll leave it up for a few moments. For those of you who may need to do the package. And while I'm waiting, Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Don't be afraid to ask questions. I have a smart group today. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you again for giving me your time. I look forward to working with you all in some capacity. You all know who I am. You know my number. Here's the QR code again. I'll leave it up for a few moments and let me know if there is any way that I can help you to prepare for your AEP. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay, you're welcome, Chamisha. You're welcome, Tina. You're welcome, Carol, anytime. Okay. Tina, yes, I have you down for the worksheet. You know what? It will be posted in the I Sell Medicare Plans community anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody who's in the community will get it. And Tom, you're in the community, so you'll get it. I think that's it. So unless you have anything else for me, any other questions, I am going to wish you the best AEP ever. Make it one that you can feel really, really good about. Thank you all.